Right, morning. Welcome everybody. This morning we are talking about how do you identify and create opportunities, and maybe even take advantage of them, Lee. I don't know. You've got to work out how to do these things. So yeah, one of my favorite sayings was, what is the meaning of coincidence? And of course, everybody thinks it's a random chance. But if you look at it from a mathematical perspective, it means the perfect meeting of 2 points. So coincidence is the perfect meeting of 2 points. And for me, it's when preparation meets opportunity. That's coincidence. So if you've been prepared and opportunity pitches up, chances are you're going to be able to take advantage of it. But if you're unprepared and it pitches up, you might not even notice that it's there. It's just going to go straight past you. So yeah, those are my little thoughts on kick the morning off with opportunities. So Lee, over to you.
Thanks, Ivan. I think you've said it. So moving on. Yeah, I didn't go to the dictionary. I'm fully hoping that Edward's going to give us some no definition. But I did but I did want to kind of pull out, so what is an opportunity? And so these were some of the thoughts that I came up with. What would define an opportunity? That it is something that is good, it appears good, and it has the potential for good. So it's appealing in some way. An opportunity requires action. It's something you have to do in order to take advantage of it, or to ensure that that opportunity actually becomes more than just potential. It does promise some return. And even if it's an opportunity to give or to serve, the return may be emotional, or it may be just in a sense of contribution. But there is some return for that opportunity. I think an opportunity is individual. So an opportunity for Ivan is going to look different to an opportunity for me, because it depends on what I can do and what I want to do, what my capacity is, what my natural bent of what I see and what is attractive to me. And I think an opportunity implies a certain amount of readiness. I think that's what you were saying, Ivan. It's this confluence of points, that there has to be a certain amount of readiness in your mindset, in your in timing. And the last thing that I wanted to say is that an opportunity often comes disguised as a problem. And creating opportunities, and I think it was an aha moment I had in working through some of the wisdom's material, and it's something that we focus on in the attitude section, where the point is made that opportunity comes not just by solving problems, but actually by creating problems. So if we want to create an opportunity, we sometimes have to create the problem. And the old one of Bill Gates saying, every computer on a computer on every desk, which didn't exist as a problem before he created it. So yeah, so those are just my opening thoughts around opportunity. And I just, so maybe if I could just, I thought rather than just giving a list of things, give an example. So a friend of mine in New Zealand has over lockdown not been able to get people to come in, and he wanted to renovate his outside area, build a pool and a lapa and all those things. He's South African, so it's a, you know, let's take a little bit of what South Africa looks like and transfer it into New Zealand. And he couldn't get anybody to come and help him. So he did it himself. So I'm pretty sure it was a lot of YouTube clips, a lot of learning along the way. But the problem of not having somebody else to do it has created an opportunity for him to learn and to do it his way and to achieve something that he's now really, really proud of. And so, yeah, that's, I think that's enough from me.
Great, thanks, Lee. Yeah, and just a quick welcome to Jeffrey. Joined us now, so the first time in 2021. So, morning, Jeffrey. Welcome. Best of 2021 to you, and glad you could join us this morning. So, right, I think we have to go across to, you know, the problem maker in our midst, and that's Trevor. So, Trevor, over to you.
Give a dog a bad name, and opportunity just follows the chasing of the bone, isn't it? I like that opportunities tend to come from problems. And I think just to take that thought of yours a little bit further, I think this creating of a problem is that opportunity tends to create a problem for the individual who wants to take up the opportunity. And that is why so many people don't take up opportunities and are not ready for opportunities, because in the taking up of opportunities, it's damn hard work. And so you've got to be used to it. I mean, there's an opportunity to climb Everest, but hell, the preparation to actually climbing to the top of Everest and the risks and all of that, most people are not ready for it. Even myself, I mean, I take my cap off to the guys who go to the top of Everest. I love Everest as a metaphor, but no way am I following them because it seems to me to be too much of a problem for my old legs at the moment. So Edward will laugh at that. These legs are gone, Edward. We've done our running, but I suppose you haven't. But look, I think that 2020 has been a magnificent year, and that's yesterday I talked of this Charles Dickens Tales of Two Cities quotes. It was the best of years, it was the worst of years. I think 2020 exposed so many people to the fact that crisis leads one of two ways. You can hate it, or you can look for the opportunities. And my background is to always look for the opportunities presented by crisis. But if you can take a 10-year view to looking for those opportunities, if you can start seeing now what's going to unfold over the next, we talked 100 days, 1 year, 10 years, with what we experienced over 2020, I think it's very exciting. Now, just the people on this network, while I was away on my break, I said, well, where are the big opportunities going to be over the next 10 years? So I wear this cap because at the start of 2020, I said we've got to 20x everything. People talk of 10xing whatever they do. And my view was in the 2020s, we've got to 20x everything. And there's a guy, Edward Chapman, who he burnt my butt almost every day that I listened to him last year, because he's one of those goody two shoes that just wants to change the world and help the environment. But I think, even though he doesn't know it, this boy's one of the smartest boys that I've actually bumped into, because I think there is big money somewhere in this opportunity of improving the environment. And instead of talking about it in general terms, maybe we've got to start turning around and saying, well, if we want to make some money out of this crisis, because what are the biggest problems for most people at the moment? If they haven't got a roof over their heads, or even if they have got a roof over their heads, many, many people have lost their jobs. Here in South Africa, I think they said over that period, there are 2.5 million people that were unemployed as a result of this. You have a look at what's going on in the UK, what's going on in the US, all of this nonsense of these guys rushing the Senate and people having mob cultures and all of that sort of thing. I think there's a privilege, those people who are the haves, and then there are those who are the have-nots. And there are two roads that you can actually choose. Try and grab everything you can from everyone else who has got, or if you're fortunate enough and privileged enough to having worked to get a roof over your head, you know, I think back to my day. When I started out, I didn't have a roof over my head. My family didn't really have a roof over their heads. We worked damn hard within the opportunities presented by the current environment to actually generate a roof over our heads. And for me, the greatest privilege I had in 2020 that I recognize is this roof over my family's heads. And that is so important. And then there are so many opportunities. So you can see my mind is all over the place, but there are a couple of things I'm focusing on here. Ed, I think you're spot on. And we need to actually break down this generalist view of helping the economy by turning around and say, how do we turn that into revenue generating opportunities for all of those people who are unemployed or looking for new employment or new opportunities? So that's something that's on my mind, but you can't take 10 years to think about it. We actually have to develop this over the next 10 days. And then the other thing that has really struck me is I've had the opportunity to think as a result of this lockdown. And if I feel so psychologically beefed up by the roof over my head, what about those people that are at risk of losing the roof over their head or who do not have a roof over their head? You know, perhaps the solution to people who are feeling in despair is to try and work out a way that we can give people a choice as to the quality of roof over their head. And yesterday we discussed, is land important? And one of the guys that I really wanted to knock around the head, he ran away when he suggested everyone's got to have land. Cuck, man, everyone's got to have a roof over their head and they can have this upright wall. I think it was permaculture we talked about, and they're half Coke bottles and they can go all their goodies in their Coke bottles. So we can if we can put roofs over their heads and facilities that people can feed themselves, how do we turn that into a revenue generating opportunity for as many people as possible? You know what, I've been away for too long, so let me shut up. I think 2021 is an exciting time if we can actually focus down on revenue generating opportunities that actually solve so many problems that have been presented by 2020. I love problems because they offer opportunities.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, never let a good crisis go to waste. Huh? Never let a good crisis go to waste. Right. So, Ed, seeing that you were pointed at many times during that little monologue, I think we better get across to you.
Yeah, this is going to seem very, very strange. I think Trevor's right. You know, for far too long, we've seen being environmental, being green as a cost. And it's not, as Trevor said, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to do something different. It's an opportunity to fill an empty space. But going back to when Lee was originally talking about opportunity and trying to phrase the question, Lee, you were struggling with trying to not say exploit an opportunity. And I even said, don't worry about the semantics. And that very nicely took me back to when I first got involved with the Friendly Society movement. I don't know whether you have them in South Africa. Friendly societies are mutual organizations that provide insurance to people. They go well back to almost the Middle Ages, I suppose, when people came together to look after each other. So you'd pay in a certain amount, and then if you got into trouble, maybe got sick, it would pay out. They became slightly less relevant when the welfare state and the NHS took over. But they're owned by their members and they're mutual. And they're quite old-fashioned. And when I got involved, they were trying to modernize. and they started bringing people in from outside, commercial people. And we're in a meeting, and this new marketing guy was there, and we were talking about stuff, and it was about how we were going to present it to the committee of management. And the chairman was in this initial meeting, and this marketing guy, and actually he was called the high chief ranger. He wasn't the chairman, he was a high chief ranger. And the marketing guy said, right, this is how we're going to exploit this opportunity. And the chairman or the high chief ranger said, no. He said, what we're going to do is we're going to meet members' unfulfilled needs. And I think sometimes semantics is important because words have meaning. And thinking about opportunities, I think it's a mindset. And I'm sure you know the story of the two shoe salesmen that went to India. And one sent a telegraph back, bad news, no one wears shoes. And the other one says, good news, no one's got any shoes. And so it's about a mindset. And I think Herman was so right yesterday when he was talking about education, when it should be nurturing a flame, and what we do is fill the vessel. And we tend to stifle people's creativity and stifle people's opportunities. And I think a lot of managers do that as well. We've all been in meetings where people dominate the meeting. You've perhaps got a chairman that dominates the meeting, doesn't let other people speak, so it doesn't let those opportunities come out. And the other thing is, if you're standing really close to a wall, you can't see the orchard the other side. But if you lift someone up, they can then see the opportunities, they can see the apples, they can see the fruit. So I think it's, realizing opportunities is about lifting people up. And I've seen that so much with the children that I help on the breaks I volunteer at. They've always been told they're no good, they're worthless, they're useless. And then as soon as you start saying you can, you are worth it, you can do it, they then go on and flourish. So I think opportunities is about a mindset. It's about giving people a chance, giving people a choice. And I think it's about leaving things for people to do. If we try and snatch them all ourselves, then, or we try and have all the solutions ourselves, we miss all those opportunities that could be other people's solutions that are better than ours. And going back to that coincidence thing, I love the W.H. Murray quote about commitment. Once you commit, all sorts of opportunities and coincidences happen. They aren't coincidences, it's just your little antennae are working and you see those opportunities that you didn't see before. So I think opportunities all around us, it's all about a mindset. It's all about thinking about things as a chance or an opportunity to find a solution or whatever, rather than thinking of things as holding us back. All these things enable us to find a solution. So those are my rambling thoughts. I didn't have much to say because I thought, oh, this is a meaty subject and I'm a vegan. So, but I found a bit to ramble on. I was impressed by Trevor.
Oh, there's always opportunity for garnish around a good piece of meat, Ed, so you can provide the garnish, that's okay. Right, so Jeffrey, let's get across to you. Good morning again.
Yeah, hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. A little bit on the soft side, but we are hearing you.
Yeah, right. Let me just see if there's a volume thing here. Okay.
That's
all
good.
right. Yes, great, guys. Yes, happy 2021. Let's hope we're all going to be wonderful and prosperous. Yeah, the conversation this morning has sort of been a little bit sort of left and right. Yeah, and rambling, I think, was the word that was used a few times. So opportunities. I've been looking at billboards as opportunities. Literally going past a billboard, sort of taking a snap with the old cell phone, finding out details, you know, obviously off the net, and then doing those terrible cold calls of just phoning up a company, and just trying to see if you can create any legway. I've got one for a construction company that I need to follow up this morning. Saw the signs and what have you. So it's a construction company that are doing earthworks. I don't know. Earthworks is the correct, civil works. That's the correct word. So yes, I took my drone out, flew a couple of little flights over the site. And so now I've made up a little clip, and I'm going to use that clip then to contact them and see if I can create any interest. So yeah, it is all about identifying opportunities. And I mean, yesterday, I love radio controlled cars and planes and stuff. I always have. I've got a fascination for them. It's rather an expensive hobby nowadays. But anyway, so yesterday I found a new radio controlled place on Facebook. So I jumped on my bike, went out there, walked into the shop, introduced myself. And yeah, I don't want to kind of look back at the past and kind of manifest into the future, but kind of walked in, and there was this sort of guy about 30 years old. And I thought, oh, brilliant. Okay. None of the silver foxes that think social media is a complete waste of time and all the rest of it. You know, they think, oh, waste of money, and what the fuck am I going to do? Sorry, Lee. What the hell am I going to do with it and all the rest of it? And it was great having the conversation. Then I kind of found out that he actually worked at the desk. And of course, what was it? The guy in the back's been there for 30 years and he owns the shop. And he kind of just looked at me and go, you know, anyway, I didn't get a favorable response. But the point of the matter was I identified a prospect and took decisive action. And yeah, so at the end of the day, it becomes a bit of a numbers game. But yeah, the current climate, people last year that were sort of interested in creating media, this year they're not, because things are just not going the way they thought it would be. But the silly part about it is that, you know, with my products, if they get like one extra sale from it, they've already grossed their money back in any case. But you know, people just don't seem to see that. But yeah, anyway, so that's my ramble this morning. So that's good luck. If there's anybody there that can identify some prospects for us to go and have a chat to, be much appreciative. So yeah, Jeffrey, sign out.
Great. Thanks, Jeffrey. Yeah, well, you know, Jasper's got a big electronic billboard sitting in his front lawn. So maybe you can find somebody who wants to put something up there. It's an opportunity, maybe to connect with what's his name? Was it Warren, Jasper, who owns that board? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, billboards, stockfels, and other things of the like. So Jasper, where's the opportunities and all of that?
Yesterday's topic was far more easier for me to get my head around than today's opportunity, because as I was listening to all of you talking, I find myself arguing against myself, and you know, then you come to a draw. So the first word that came up in me was discomfort, and discomfort is to say you're probably only open to other possibilities when you are uncomfortable where you are right now. So having said that, it means right now everybody is uncomfortable, so there must be a huge a readiness in people's mind to jump at opportunities. So that's positive. Then as the conversation continued, and some of the stuff that Ed said there was to say, you know, help people to unlock their own potential. And that the note I was making there is create a nurturing environment. But the moment I wrote that down, next word was long-term view, because you can't create a nurturing environment in 10 days and want to take action in 10 days and then have anything sustainable. So an environment is over a period of time that you help the people with consistent or so that they can develop consistent behavior. So I was intrigued by saying, what if one can flip the whole thing and look at every problem in the world and go back to Trevor's famous words to say, where's the money? But once one can unlock the solution and present it as a money-making opportunity, then people will automatically adjust their behavior to make as much money as they can possibly can. So maybe there's a key there that I'll think about it more, that one can actually solve the world's problems by just looking for the money. Where's the money? And bring it right down, but then it requires structures and systems. So I actually said, all right, here's my problem. The real opportunities lies in spotting the trends 10 years from now, then looking at the structures and systems and nurturing environment that needs to be in place, and having taken a long-term view, map out a plan that will gradually get people to the end result, where you now have almost swung the whole behavior of people to fit in perfectly with how you want them to act and think and behave. And out of that comes all the money spinning opportunities. But the reality is people are emotional beings, and people tend to solve the pain that hurts the most right now. And how do you keep people's attention going for 10 years so that you can, over time, get them there? And how do you make money and be sustainable while gradually you move your plan from A to B to C to and so forth? So knowing the attention span of Trevor, that anything that's not happening in 10 days, he's not interested. I'm saying that's probably true for most people out there. So if I look at all the scams that keep coming up, that scamming people out of their money, it's because it promises quick fix results. So it's going to be a while before we get people to come to grips with, for anything worth having, it's worth working at it and taking time. So having stated the problem, I actually have no solutions. And with that, I hand it back to you, Ivan.
Thanks, Jasper. That's exactly what I was going to say. I think you've created a whole bunch of problems here for us, and we need to find some solutions quickly. But yeah, so 10 years, is it quick? How long does it take to become an overnight success? Yeah, probably about 10 years, if you're lucky. So yeah, it comes back to opportunity, luck, coincidence, but preparedness. And I think that's one of the things you touched on there, Jasper, in what you were saying, is most people aren't prepared. They think they are. They think they're in crisis. They're looking for opportunities, but they have no preparation. So when the scam or the quick fix comes up, they jump at it because they just simply aren't prepared, and they either greedy or desperate, and dive at these things and get taken, which is one of the sad facts of human nature, is that we seem to like taking advantage of people either less fortunate than ourselves, or maybe more fortunate than ourselves, but more greedy. So yeah, the mindset is a huge thing. Thinking, I think, is what we're all about here. Change the thinking, because you simply can't solve a problem using the same thinking that created it in the first place. So you have to change your thinking to take advantage of those opportunities and become an opportunist. I think what's wrong with opportunist, Ed? I think all good things, it comes down to the semantics and the interpretation. I mean, some people think if you say you've got an attitude, it means you've got a bad attitude. Well, we like people to have attitudes, but those are good attitudes. So we've got to work on some of these semantics and maybe not be so PC some of the time. I think it's maybe there's an opportunity in that to change our thinking again. So yeah, lots of interesting discussions around the table. I'm still waiting for the solutions. So yeah, we've got to do something, and I think that's what we were talking about. It's about taking action and not waiting. I think we can have these wonderful plans about galvanizing the world, as Trevor was saying, and then Jasper was saying, and but the thing is, all that winds up in is a lot of talk. So you know, who's building their wall and putting in their permaculture or their vertical farm tomorrow or today. So, you know, start planting those seeds. You plant enough seeds, you'll have some surpluses. You've got some surpluses, you've got something to trade or to sell. And I think that's where it all starts. Just get that first seed germinating and get it moving. So those are my thoughts, Lee. So back over to you. And Trevor wants to add something further. All right, first back to Trevor then.
Just a thought based on something that Jasper said. I've been watching this Bitcoin derivative trading thing that seems to have collapsed, been one of the latest they call scams. And their claim is 260,000 people jumped into this thing. 260,000 people. Some of the people who are doing the investigation into this say that these numbers are exaggerated numbers by the marketers, that it was only 60,000 people that actually jumped into this project. But they jumped in and collectively threw in, it sounds like about 5 billion rand into this over a relatively short period of time. And all that's telling me is that people are desperate for quick fix solutions, And sometimes in developing an opportunity for the marketplace, you've got to go with the trend, and you've got to recognize that maybe you've got to help these people get a quick fix solution in a project of integrity versus one that seems not to have the integrity. And somehow we've got to work out how we can help folk take decisions that are smarter than what they are doing. I mean, if they had to put that into our project, and what I'm looking to do here is develop a quick fix solution so that only 1 billion rand can come into our projects as a collective here in the next 100 days. So if I can get that right, and if anyone's got their ideas, please give me a call. My number is XX2367. No, these are the opportunities we've got to work on. What are people chasing after? What are they demonstrating as their need? What do they want? How can you redirect what is really going to be spent into a scam that we all know into a project of integrity by upfront promotion of concepts. Rambling on, Jeffrey, maybe we can do a derivative project on spare capacity in billboards all around Africa. No, I'm just thinking.
Okay, well, while you think, I think we better switch back to Lee to wrap us up and see where we're going with this one tomorrow.
Well, I wish I knew. The word that's come up for me is preparation. And it's an interesting word because what does it mean? So we've been talking about semantics. And so I'm just thinking, what is it when we use a word like being prepared? Then what does that actually require of us? And I'm thinking of us as individuals, but also as a world, because we have to prepare for a new world post-COVID. So what is that going to require of us? Because we have to start now. You know, as Jasper says, even if you've got a 10-year vision, it doesn't start in 10 years, it starts now. So where are we? So what does that mean? Yeah, so that's the question for tomorrow. What does it mean to be prepared for opportunities and for the new?
All right, thanks, Lee. So yeah, see if you can go and find out some meaning amongst all the opportunities and prepare for tomorrow. But I'm not too sure how that's all going to pan out. So, but whoever knows. So have a great day further, folks, and we'll see you on tomorrow. Go on. Cheers.